Hello and welcome to week 238 of Body Bags. My name's James and I'm your filling reviewer for Thursday. So this week we have random reviews, and the film I've decided to talk about is one that I've actually watched a couple of weeks ago, and it's one that I'm still digesting. It's quite a strange one. It's the 2006 Marion Dora film, Cannibal. Sorry about the glare. Okay. Right. Well, this film is taken from a. It's a live case of. There was a man in Germany, 2001, Armin Muse, and he basically placed an ad for someone to eat. He wanted to eat someone to taste human flesh. So he had this advert answered by a Brandt Jürgen Armando. I've got his name noted down. Brands. So yes, this case obviously happens that Armin killed and ate Brand, and he was tried for manslaughter, and I believe that the case was overturned and he's now serving life imprisonment for murder. But that's kind of like the real case, so let me talk about the film. So this is directed by Marion Dora, and I think this is the fourth or fifth film, and it's very art house. It's a non-typical horror film, very much so. I mean, the film opens up. We have a character of Armin, played by Carsten Frank, and he's trying to find someone to eat. There are a few candidates that make themselves available. There's one that we see, for instance, he's taking drugs. So when Armin goes to see him, he sees the situation, deems that the person not good enough to eat, taking drugs into their body. I don't know, he wants someone more pure. I don't know, I'm not a cannibal, but I'm guessing he wanted pure meat. So anyway, we follow him. He's on internet chat rooms. You see he's typing. He's getting more and more frustrated, and he has his one of his posts are answered by Brandt, who has he wants to be eaten. So this goes quite hand in hand. You have one person, Armin, who wants to eat someone, and one person, Brand, who wants to be eaten. So they meet up. They agree to what's going to happen. They go to Armin's. He has a farmhouse in the country, and so we proceed to watch them for the next 30 minutes. It's a strange 30 minutes. It's we watch their relationship and how it progresses quite quickly. Obviously, two very, how do you say, not mad or crazy, but they're not exactly sane. But two very driven people wanting the same goal, and you see how that rolls out, and it becomes very apparent that there's also a sexual twist to this. That's something to point out. Yeah, if you are offended by themes of cannibalism and homosexuality, this really is not the film for you, as they are very heavily shown in this film. Excuse me. So anyway, we're watching their relationship. They're having fun. They're naked a lot. They're rolling around. Yeah, and then basically they move into what is the room where Brand will lose his life. That's the plan. Anyway, so they start drinking heavily. They end up having sex and they pass out. And when they come around and wake up, Brand has decided that he's ready. It's time for him to be killed. So he asks Armin to basically bite his penis off, which he fails to do. He's trying to do it, and then I guess there's a psychological block. He's scared. The realization of what he's doing, like, maybe kicks him, and he can't go through with it. It's very much the disappointment of Brand, who actually gets quite moody and stroppy and wants to be taken home again. So we proceed to watch Armin beg and kind of whine and moan that he's saying he can do it, but Brand has lost the confidence in him to do this. Anyway, long story short, he changes his mind. They go back to the house and they're talking and Brand has the idea, would you do it if I'm asleep? So, and this is a great idea to both of them. So Brand takes a lot of sedative, drinking lots, falls asleep, and Armin is watching him throughout this process, watching him sleep. And when Armin wakes up, when Brand wakes up, he asks to be castrated, which Armin does. You see this rather graphic castration. It's a very painful process, and then once it's actually done, you proceed to watch Brand urinate through the wound. Pretty strange. Yeah, not a very nice scene. And anyway, they go off to the kitchen. Armin cooks the penis, and then they go to eat the penis. Tastes disgusting. Spits it out. Offers it to Brand, who right now really isn't doing the best, because obviously he's suffering from shock. Is a lot of blood loss, and they're like, oh, maybe, I don't know, there's second thoughts maybe, but I don't know, there's certain disappointment. So Armin takes Brand to the bath, and then he stays with him while he bleeds to death. Now this scene, you're watching it unfold, there's a lot of emotion through this film. There is heavy emotion. It's not just gore and shock for the sake of it. It does fit the film well, and there is a lot of heavy emotion here, and you can see the emotional connection that Armin has with Brand, and how much they've known each other a short time, but this connection of wanting to become one. You see he has a lot of feeling for him, so he doesn't want him to suffer. But he stays with him the whole time, and obviously eventually Brand bleeds to death. And then this is where the film takes a turn. Armin suddenly, it's almost like the emotion is switched off. It's like, well, he's gone, he's dead now. This is just a carcass for me. So he takes it out into an outhouse barn, hangs up the body, starts disemboweling Brand's body, hacks it to pieces, and ends up eating certain various parts. And that's the film. Like I said, this is quite it's an unusual film. It's not your usual horror film by any means. It's, like I said, it's very art house. It's not very heavy on dialogue. It's very much imagery driven. And yes, there is shock value, but I don't think it's just for that shock effect. Like I said, it fits really well with the film. But I can't work out if I like this film, if I don't like this film. I can't work out if it's a good film or a bad film. It's certainly an interesting film, and actually because of that I would recommend this as a watch. Yeah, it's a little, I was going to say it's a little slow, because not much happens within the first half, but it's so strange and interesting that you are intrigued by it. And then obviously it starts to get a lot more gross, and then it gets very the whole crescendo is very graphic, and like how it's done. The gore is pretty good actually, and yeah, I don't think I will watch this film again, but it certainly stayed with me. And as I said, I would actually recommend watching this, just because of how different it is. But anyway, this is my review of Cannibal, also I believe known as the Rottenberg Cannibal. I think that's the character that's played by Carsten Frank. Let me check. The Armin Muse character, I believe that he's known as the Rottenberg Cannibal. But like I said, this is my review of Cannibal. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.